Hi, everybody. It is time for our read aloud. Now, today, this whole week, we're learning about the zoo. So I thought it'd be fun to read Curious George Goes to the Zoo. And after I read this, you're going to complete the zoo craft that Miss the Wiki made for us. So here's the front cover. Here is the back cover. And we're going to open it up. Before we open up, we are going to talk about the author and the illustrator. Now, the author and the illustrator are Margaret and H.A. Rays. So Margaret and H.A., those are his initials, wrote the words and drew the picture. So let's open up and see. And what is this called? It is called the title page. The title page because it says the title again. Now let's get into the story. This is George. George is a good little monkey and is always very curious. Today, George was feeling very excited. The man with the yellow hat was taking him to the zoo. As they drove, the man explained to George that it wasn't just any zoo they were going to visit. It's called the Wild Animal Park, the man said. All of the animals roam freely. When they arrived, George saw a huge banner. George looked up at it, but he could not read the words. A friendly zookeeper explained, "It's an extra special day here at the Wild Animal Park," she said. "It's our baby rhino's first birthday. We are going to have a party for her later." A party? This is going to be a wonderful trip to the zoo. George tried to walk into the park where the animals were, but the zookeeper stopped him. "You cannot go in there," she said. "To explore this zoo, you have to ride in one of our special cars." She pointed to the huge car that had no roof on it. Oh my, what fun this is gonna be. George and his friends climbed aboard and the car drove into the park. Soon they were in the midst of the Wild Animal Park. "Look over there," said the zookeeper. "There's our pride of lions. We have a large family here." George pointed in the other direction. "Yes, George," said the zookeeper. "I see the giraffes too. Their tall necks help them eat leaves from the treetops. And there are 2 ostriches running this way." George was happy to be seeing so many amazing animals. The zoo car drove past a small pond. Pink flamingos waddled in the water. Their heads bobbed up and down as they walked on their spiny legs. "The flamingos turn pink because they eat so many tiny pink shrimp," said the zookeeper, but George was not listening. He'd never seen flamingos before, and he was curious about how the flamingos were moving. He leaned out the back of the zoo car as far as he could to take a look. But oh, what happened? Oh, what do you think's gonna happen? I don't think anything good. First, George lost his balance. Then he fell, kerplunk, right out of the zoo car. His friends hadn't noticed that he had fallen. George ran quickly as his little monkey feet could toward the pond. The flamingos bobbed their heads and lifted their feet one at a time. It looked like they were dancing. George danced with them. Suddenly, the water in the pond started to move. Then a hippo popped its head out from under the water. What a surprise! George stopped dancing to take a look. The hippo opened its huge mouth as if it was yawning. George opened his mouth wide too. It was fun, acting like a hippo. Is this what he's supposed to be doing? No. Just then, George noticed that something was rustling in the weeds near the pond. George was curious. He wanted to see what that was. In an instant, he jumped over the reeds, poked his nose inside, and saw a baby rhino. The tiny rhino was cute, but she looked a little bit sad and a little bit lonely. Oh no. Let's see what keeps happening. He jumped and bobbed his head and he danced his feet up and down. George wanted to make the baby rhino feel happy again. He thought maybe the baby rhino would like the flamingo dance. The baby rhino peeked her head out of the reeds so that she could watch George dance more, and the rhino walked out of the reeds. She was curious too. They were having so much fun that George didn't notice what was behind him. Uh-oh, what was behind him? We'll have to keep reading. The zookeeper stomped over to George. She did not look happy. The man with the yellow hat was running behind her. "You are a very naughty little monkey," said the zookeeper. "You were supposed to stay in the car. You and your friends will have to leave now." George walked to the man's side. He waved goodbye to the baby rhino. The man and the zookeeper turned to see whom George was waving to. "The baby rhino? Why, we've been looking for her all day," said the zookeeper. "She got separated from her mother." So why was the zookeeper happy to see the rhino? Yeah, got separated from her mama. George was happy to see the zookeeper looking happy again. He and the man started walking towards the exit, and the zookeeper ran to stop them. "Thank you for finding our baby rhino, George, and just in time for her birthday party. Will you join us for the cake?" George jumped with glee. He had forgotten all about the party, and he did love cake. The man and George followed the zookeeper and the baby rhino back to zoo headquarters. The rhino's mother was waiting there for her. So is the rhino happy now? Yes, she is. The zookeeper brought out a special cake that was shaped like a rhino. George had never seen a cake like that before. "You can have the first piece, George," said the zookeeper. I also have a special treat just for you." She placed a bunch of bananas in front of him. George was very happy to have a tasty banana, but he had to save room for some cake too. So was this a happy story? Yes. Now it has some facts about animals, so I'm going to read it to you. The hippopotamus, or a hippo, can live in water and on land. On hot, sunny days, though, they prefer to use water or mud to cool them down. Flamingos often stand on just one foot for long periods of time, though no one knows really why they do it. Giraffes are the tallest of all land animals. Their long legs and necks help them grab and eat leaves from high up in trees. Lions live in large family called prides. They are fierce predators with canine teeth that are more than 3 inches long. Could you imagine having teeth so long? Ostriches are the largest of all bird species. Though they can't fly, they are very fast runners, hitting speeds up to 45 miles per hour. And rhinos have horns on their nose that look very powerful. These horns are the material similar to fingernails, though. Like fingernails, the horn can break off and grow back if it's cut or broken. So that was all that. So we read Curious George Goes to the Zoo. And like I said before, today I would like you to complete the zoo craft that is provided for you in your packet. I hope you enjoyed the book and I hope you enjoy the craft. I'll see you later. Bye.